English is hard. That's why I made Stories in English, where you can have fun while you learn. You can listen to stories full of action, romance, and mystery. Each episode, I tell stories for beginner, intermediate, and advanced learners, and there's a story for every mood. Whether you want something to queue up or relax before going to bed, Easy Stories in English is the podcast for you.
So it turns out what your inquisitorial band needs is either combat or downtime, because you've grown closer and unified in both, though not easily under either circumstance. Damien, you are currently roommates with Brother Solomon in your doorless room. Cellmates. Cellmates in your doorless cell in your endless quest to serve the Inquisition, while Morgan and the judge have started training together and beginning to forge a bond over this downtime where you are waiting for something else. Morgan has set up a chapel so everyone can contribute one thing that becomes part of this small chapel room that you all have access to, which is why I am going to go around the table and I want to hear two things from everyone. I want to hear
one, two,
what you add
three.
to the chapel. Downtime where you are waiting for something else. Morgan has set up a chapel so everyone can contribute one thing that becomes part of this small chapel room that you all have access to, which is why I am going to go around the table and I want to hear two things from everyone. I want to hear
one, two,
what you add
three.
to the chapel. And I want to hear one activity you add for the group every day. It may be training in combat, but you realize after the first week, Brother Solomon is back in shape, you're ready to move, but no orders come through. You could be here for an indeterminate amount of time, and you cannot allow yourselves or your skills to slacken off in these interims. Can everybody roll me initiative? We'll find out where we're going. 6 for Damien.
11.
16. 19. Solomon's stoked. He's getting everything he wants. He's got freak legs and articles.
All right, Solomon, what do you add to the chapel? As the unofficial chaplain of your group currently, there's a display case.
Yes,
There's the
that's
shelf
what I was
right
thinking.
behind the altar.
And I think his initial thought, and this is a more mechanical question for you, but if he left that Bible, that Ezekiel's Bible, and he left it there, he doesn't need that mechanically to function, right?
No, he does not need that mechanically to function, but if he were bothered to not have one,
That's what I was thinking, that this is, it's like,
he has a cellmate who spent the first 10 years of his life with the church illuminating and recreating manuscripts. Would you ask someone who you see has beautiful writing when forced to make his after-action report to create another copy of Ezekiel's Bible?
How on a scale of 1 to blasphemous, like where are we?
Copying the words would not be inherently blasphemous in and of itself. I mean, you believe it's holy. It doesn't matter what the rest of us think.
But he, and I don't think he would have any understanding aside from like the sly digs that he's been getting, like the true word of the Empire.
Yeah. Like you'd copy the entire Bible out for him if that was an option.
Yes,
like you'd
right?
copy his thing.
Yeah. So sure, yes, I think he would ask Damien if he could help him, or even like not have him do it. But again, he's trying to learn his little motor skills back. He's trying to get fine movement back. So maybe he could see if Damien, is this something I'm just wondering if you'd give me a hand with? We don't have to do all 320 pages. That's the beauty of this book. There's only 20 with writing, so it won't take that long at all.
So I need to pose the same question to you, Brian, from Damien's perspective. I have a vague sense that this feels...
He knows a different text than you do.
Yeah.
You have been very strictly raised to believe in the exact text that you were a part of.
Yeah.
You were aware that there are other ecclesiarchal disciplines and worlds who have different texts where everybody gets really up their ass about which one is the right text. So,
Which is funny because they're all wrong. Mine's the right text.
absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. And they're all wrong. mine's the right text. So that's the game.
Yeah.
He does have his text. It would not, technically copying the words over would not be blasphemy. There would not be that crime. The question is his intention for use of it, which
Yeah.
is really a you question as opposed to like a world question.
Yeah, okay.
You're a psyker, so you've already broken every word you've ever written down.
Yeah. But I think he's trying to avoid some of that in for a penny, in for a pound mentality, because that's where how you lead to chaos. What are you going to use a second copy of this book for?
I'm going to put it in the chapel, so we can all learn. And in the same way, I would hope to learn more from your text. This is a communal place where we all come to worship the emperor. So it would be crazy for you to say no, right? He doesn't actually say that.
He knows he's
Yeah.
got a cat he's dealing with.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
experienced with this Crocs.
And you still can't write yourself, eh?
Well, I'm not as well as you can. My legs are mostly the problem, but it's all in the, I'm kind of learning how to do some stuff.
Look, I'm quite busy. If there's time, maybe.
He'll take that.
And you'll have your copy
Aw, come on.
at some point.
That's so nice. Get out of
Fabulous.
here.
Can you roll me? Would you be slow rolling this, or would you do it when you had time, or what? What would Damien's? Now that we've stepped away from this scene to
Yeah.
just how he actually does this.
There is the impulse to be like 20 pages and page 21 and page 22. I'm like, this is the real shit. Or even like making changes to the first 20 pages. And I think it's slow because he's like, there's like, if I'm writing this at all, it might as well be the real thing. I just hate doing it. Because if I wanted to, I think Damien lacks the subtlety and like subterfuge of like weaving small variations in to like over time or gradually change the words in this book. So I think it's just copying, because boy, is he good at copying. Like,
Great.
he just writes that stuff down.
I love that. Roll me 3d6.
4 and 1.
Takes you 9 days to do these 20 pages correctly.
Yeah.
In formal style, they are calligraphied. You don't have to do images. It's not like you're
No.
doing fully illustrated manuscripts, but it is beautifully done, these 20 pages. You have it finished after 9 days.
Okay.
It does not mean you give it to him after 9 days. That's up to you.
I think probably 10. Just a day to think about, like, is this protecting him or enabling his inherent heresy that I already detect in him, kind of thing. And I also think it took 9 days because there were a number of drafts where he just couldn't do it. It's like, this has to be started over because I just put in a bunch of like the real stuff in this, and he's gonna notice to do it over again.
I'm not writing another this chapter on corn. We're gonna make C-O-R-N. It's so close.
It doesn't have the same spelling mistakes the original one does. Yeah.
Yeah. So you make those adjustments. You take that day. You swallow your pride. You intellectually do acknowledge that he is demonstrably holier than you, which is
That's
very
frustrating.
frustrating.
Yeah, but it's like he is like it's like raw holiness that is like, what a waste that it's being directed towards these words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so much more potential here. Like, he could be a saint one day, and I feel a little embarrassed to be like helping him go in this stupid direction.
Helping him get his kids menu at the religion
like
restaurant.
encouraging this kind of behavior that is going to, like, at best case scenario, embarrass him, and worst case scenario, like, blow any shot he has at being of impactful service to the emperor after our work in the Inquisition. Like, he has a future beyond the Inquisition.
But is it with the Ministorum or is it Return to Promethea?
Yeah, like, I'm going to be Inquisition probably for the rest of my life, because there's no place in the light for me as it is. He has a fucking free ticket to wherever he wants if he can learn the words he's supposed to learn. I don't hand you that book. It's you find it somewhere. It's left out for you to find. I don't. Sure. Yeah.
rocks and a bull. Like someone who's always snapping at someone who cannot be changed from the direction they are walking. But okay, you discovered the book.
Perfect. He'll take the book, obviously appreciative. And I think in the interim, he'd still be baking things in the kitchen. So I think he'd leave a little tray of some kind of
Okay.
lemon something.
So while you were here, you were doing your chaplain duties and you are cooking for the rest of the crew every day.
It's crazy how bad the GoPro is. Even now the sun is going down and it's not dark, but you can see on the stream it doesn't seem
That's exactly what I was thinking.
it doesn't give the right light setting
I think he would look over
compared to what it is, so the a DJI camera is much better.
Little secret. And he opens it up and he flips to the back and he sees that it's all done. And he sees that it's better quality. Oh, definitely. It's nice and it's calligraphy and not gilded, but it has all these little touches.
I think you find Golden Boss pages. Like, they have nice stuff. Sure. They find good notebooks on an Inquisition vessel.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it is
I
quality.
thought that'd be too fancy. I thought it meant cool stained pages.
No, this is nice stuff.
Yeah. Sit on that for a little while. That's funny. It's a funny. Let me think about it. Let me think.
Okay,
Yeah,
think on it.
go around.
Think on it. Right now,
Yeah.
you are carrying both on you.
Yeah.
When you decide which one to put in the chapel, you can do that plus you're on a planet somewhere and then you have both with you.
I have two books.
Yeah. They're both inside the armor.
Yeah.
Judge Rex, what do you add to the chapel?
Yeah, he's not for letting people in. He's not for letting them in too close, especially about things related to his backstory. What makes him vulnerable. So it's just going to be a by the numbers Minnesota Bible. Here you go.
Fabulous. So the classic text is there for you instantly, Damien. You don't even have to do it yourself.
Something
Insane.
Yeah, you just hear out of the open door that can't be closed just a loud Scottish thank you from down the hallway when it gets placed in there.
Time.
And what are you doing every day with or for the rest of the group? What do you add into the daily ritual?
Oh God, that was part of this.
Yep, those are the two things I said were a part of this.
Right. I thought it was gonna be I misheard this and I thought it was two things you're giving.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay.
Like, do you add an hour of weapons training? Is it everybody's going to do room clearance the way that you were doing it? Or Brother Solomon's just cooking for everyone every day and reading from one of two Bibles?
Yeah, I would like to do some sort of meditation, actually, whether that's guided in relation, on top of some of the training we do, just for heightening battle senses, being one with your heartbeat.
I would love, more than anything, can we get just a minute or two of guided Arbites meditation as coached for the team from Judge Buchanan Rex? I just want to hear what every team member is hearing as you make them. Do they sit cross-legged? How does an Arbites meditate?
They stand,
Fabulous.
arms crossed.
Fabulous.
Okay,
They all have a helmet on, I assume?
naturally.
Yep, everyone has a helmet. Can they see out of it, or is it like a closed visor? You can't see anything.
I mean, I can see out of mine. What they can or
Fabulous.
can't
But
see is up to them.
I didn't know if you just
Yeah.
darkened it so that it was a nothing, or do they just close their eyes within the helmet?
No. You keep them open. Even when you're meditating, you don't show weaknesses in your bitings.
Fabulous. Everyone's arms are crossed.
Yeah.
They're all wearing mock Arbites helmets made by Closet.
Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Now. Hold. 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 Solid and black. Stand out. Very good. Never give in. Never surrender. Mercy to none. That is the end of the meditation. Feel relieved.
This happens every day for an hour.
Great.
He yells at you how to breathe. for 57 minutes. In, out, or hold are the only 3 commands you receive, and at the end of that time, he reminds you one Arbites tenet of the Lex Imperialis and commands you to be relieved. This is a part of your daily ritual. Morgan, what are you adding to this chapel? What goes on the display shelf? I know you built the room,
Yep.
but what specific item do you place there among the others?
Great. I'm imagining that while Morgan was in inquisitorial jail, she did a lot of prayer and she visited the chapels there and also did confession to some of the
Fotobox, längre fram va?
did confession to some of the priests or whoever was there. And I imagine at one point she was given like a purity seal at like post confession of earlier on in the years that she was there. And I think she's kept the first one that she got. So she has the purity seal, but it's like all rolled up, so it almost looks like a scroll with the purity seal on the outside. And then around that, she has tied a ribbon, and attached to the ribbon is a wedding ring. And that goes in the chapel.
Fabulous. Of these many confessions that you gave, all of whom were to priests, confessors who were mind wiped afterwards. So you could say whatever you needed to for the Inquisition, and it would be deleted at the end, but you still would have unburdened yourself.
Yes.
You had this purity seal. A lot of purity seals can involve a vow or a promise internally, echoing a little bit, in my humble opinion, in the confessors you were dealing with, of some of those oaths at the moment of the Space Marines. But was there a particular sin or vow that was referenced inside this purity seal, not visible to anybody else, hidden within this ribbon that is tied? But what is it?
It is definitely a vow to continue to pray and to remember the Emperor, because her biggest sin for herself in her confession was that she assumed that the Emperor couldn't reach her, and that was out of her grasp, that she was in the dark, and so she eschewed prayer. She did not pray. She did not believe in anything, and then she was miraculously healed by the Emperor, and so she begs forgiveness for all of those years that she spent in the dark, ignoring the Emperor or feeling like he wasn't there for her, and vowed to continue to pray and have faith.
Excellent. That purity seal remains in the chapel, and what do you add to your band's daily habits?
Morgan is thinking about all of the training that she's done for the Inquisition and the bands that she's been a part of prior, and I think it is a lot of training, an hour of training, but I think it's an hour of training of a random task at a random hour of the day, because it's like just getting you randomly with, we gotta teach the boys more about rappelling, doing grappling rappels out of the top of the hangar bay. Those, see, yep. An hour of drills in and out of the ship of L1. Then just an hour of everyone has to fight each other. And so it's just random, we're gonna bomb in, you have an hour of we're training to do something. And then also randomly one day, it was her bombing in, and then making everyone
Fuck,
drinks
taxi,
and tell
drive in
everyone
the speed
stories.
limit, please.
Fabulous. So you've got this list of activities. You've got these
My lord.
these things that switch up the schedule, that have the
Yes.
unpredictability and the demands that you would expect of the team. And training is not necessarily easy or safe. In general combat training, hand-to-hand, unarmed, crowd tactics, that's living in the judge's territory. Solomon is the one teaching dueling, sword work, more elaborate melee combat. Morgan, you were teaching shooting, no question. Damien, you are just learning all of the above, because these are not skills that have been traditionally taught to you, and they don't necessarily come to you easily, but you're learning. So by the time a lot of this training is complete, Damien is as competent as the average, Astra Militarum guardsman. That's not necessarily saying a lot, but it's a lot better than a civilian. I am curious, though, as you add in these additional skills, rappelling, anything you think they might need in an
Yes.
emergency scenario, so that people have tried it once. And because you've got this level of training facility, a closet can fix people, it means you get hurt. And that's okay. Closet
weeks of recovery. The level of damage not to solve
Let's see what
is
the sign
obviously gonna be
says.
some
Stop
recovery time built into this,
vehicle
but you have access to things that
after
civilians do not.
Ah,
Even
fuck.
high-level people often do not. There's a chance Closet may be a little bit of a heretic himself, but the Inquisition kind, they don't care about that. The one thing I do have to ask, though, on top of all this training to add these skills and do these kind of dangerous things, even avoid walking outside the ship, there's so many opportunities. What story are you telling everyone as you make drinks? What's story time with Morgan like?
I know. Would Morgan have all of her things that she had in the prison brought with her, or because she escaped, she doesn't have any of those?
When you say things, what do you mean?
Like her books and other objects she had. Just everything, or was it like a go
when
bag
you say
escape?
books, are they like personal journals, or are you talking like novels?
Novels.
No, but you could have found copies of them. You had a long time to be able to recollect that library. I think Valentine probably would have actually set you up with all the shit you would have had. It just wouldn't have been the actual copy.
That makes
It's
sense.
like you had these 5 books in your cell, you got 5 books in your go bag that went with you on transit.
That makes sense. That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
So if she had.
No, I think you got it all. Sorry, it took me a second to get there because it was not a question I had ever thought of.
I know. That's what I was not sure exactly if she just had what was on her.
He would have if he knew that you cared about it. So yes.
Great. It's a story, a novel about, I think, a romanticized version of the story of an Imperial hero who started off in the military. So it's like a glorious tale of a military boy who grew up and became a famous Imperial hero. So it's like half propaganda, half like historical type of novel.
Okay. I will say, of all the opportunities, you are reading some of General Janet Sulla's histories of Caiaphas Cain and her campaigns with him.
Yes, that's perfect. Yeah.
They are like overly flowery, overly heroic. She clearly adored Caiaphas Cain as this tremendous Imperial hero who had done amazing things, and he had. And I don't think you'd have access to the Inquisition's files on him. So that's what you would know from this glowing story of somebody who served with him in the Valhalla in 97.
That's exactly, because I think even coming out with this, Morgan looked at her other stories that are quaint or that are more romantic and more fantastical, and was like, this seems like the tone that would be good for everybody. So she's reading that, and then yes, makes everyone drink. She's doing full bartender routine. She has like mixed drink stuff out and is doing whatever you want. She's gonna make it for you. And then once everyone is settled with their drink, it's like story time.
So she routinely gets you all a little bit sauced and reads to you tales of Imperial heroes.
Yep, chapter at a time.
A chapter at a time. I absolutely love that. Last, and perhaps appropriately last, is somebody who tends to let everybody else do the mainstream thing and then figure out his own thing. Damien, what are you putting in this chapel?
Damien doesn't have a lot of property. So
Closet can also make something custom for you, as he's done for other people. He made most of the stuff in the chapel, and he's very happy to avail his services.
I was thinking, it was funny that Josh mentioned it for Solomon, of getting Damien to do some calligraphy, like some writing. I have like the calligraphy set on parchment. I was thinking about writing a bunch of those like seals and stuff like that I see like in
purity seals.
Yeah. And just like putting seals up around the chapel, things like that, like trying to sanctify it further and to kind of bolster it as we
Tourist bus
a like consecrated
exceeds the
place.
speed limit. That's
Particularly when we're going through
funny.
a book like this is hallowed ground.
I absolutely love that idea. So yes, you create the purity seals.
Oh,
you
it's
have the
the
ability
bus
to
going to the
create
airport.
High Gothic, which is the official
They
language
usually
of the
speed.
church and noble-born citizens. So you can do things completely appropriate.
Because I'm not right now, I'm driving in 90,
Even the colors, even the way to do that.
which is the
So
speed
you
limit.
get all that put in place. Closet will approach you after that is done and say, "Do you want those on the walls? I could burn in your passages."
Yes, that would be splendid.
Happy to help. I'll do a few for me too. And he goes in, and over the course of a day, he copies directly, scans your purity seals. They're put up everywhere. Like Closet actually goes into this chapel and burns the words using his welding mechadendrites into the wall. So inside this chapel, just floor to ceiling, it is a Bible unto itself carved into the walls. The ceiling, however, it is the same text you think. It's written in binary. It's all ones and zeros and ones and zeros and ones and zeros into the ceiling. The only place where none of this is written is the floor, so that no one is walking on any of these words. But the chapel has been fully sanctified by this inquisitorial band. Damien, what do you add to everyone's daily routine? You've got breathing meditation, a la the Arbites. You have beautifully cooked meals by Brother Solomon. You've got completely randomized training from Morgan on top of the general combat training in a variety of disciplines and workouts and all of these things. Yeah, I think, especially sort of like the comprehensive nature of just like a random subject at a random hour, let's go, and as a group we're doing a thing, I think covers a lot. I think sort of selfishly, Damien will...
Hello.
I guess we're each
Hello,
leading the
Pro
right? Yeah,
Edit.
something you're adding to the scale, yeah. He'll
That's
lead the group in psycho
funny name.
Not something that he necessarily is like an expert at or anything like that, but basically he'll break it down as like, you all need to learn how to fight alongside me. I am a
Yeah,
very dangerous
can't wait to get home so I can play more
so you might as well all learn how
World
to
of Warcraft
wield me as effectively as possible.
and listen to
also,
this
like,
podcast. It's really fun, I think.
fully show what
Agents of the
Damien is
Inquisition.
capable of, so that there's no like surprises, or if there is a surprise, they know that that's not normal kind of thing.
Message
And,
has been
I suspect
redacted.
it would be probably the most challenging.
It's so weird why you guys do that.
Kind of stomach that, but I think that's part of it.
It's
as
not
well,
dangerous
like,
to say hello.
if it's become clear to Damien that like
It's not
all
like
gotta get
Google
along, we're all
don't
doing
know
this
what
with
you
him,
said
or there's
anyway,
some
so
very important task and mission where
I
we
think
don't
it's a
fully know what it is,
weird
but
function they even have
frame
it.
is at stake if we fail. So it's like, use me to the best of all your abilities. Learn to fight alongside me. To incorporate me into our tactics.
That's happened
kind of
here.
thing. Like we were being taught a lot of more.
Oh, the truck popped the tire or something.
I don't want to downplay it as like mundane or basic, but the less sort of fantastical battle tactics and things like that. Fighting, using our guns to kill people who are shooting at us with their guns, and using tactics to clear a room that like someone is trying to hold it, like take a position and stuff like that. But do you know how to like perform a flanking maneuver with a human flamethrower, or do you know how to take advantage of a psyker who has paralyzed someone, and what it looks like when that person is no longer able to move in the moment, or do you have to rely on a psyker to be like, hey, I'm holding this guy, finish him. Like we want to get past that part so that we're more effective.
Demystifying what you're capable of and discussing what you've seen other prisoners who are capable of and how you've eliminated them.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this in terms of combat tactics would be done with specific weaponry instead of the powers themselves that are like, oh, if you want to practice clearing a building with the guy who's a human flamethrower, cool. They give Damien, Closet gives Damien 2 hand flamers. And it's just getting used to the calls of, oh, you want him to clear a room, you got to do this, but you can't be between him and the room.
Yeah.
You got to learn those things. I would say, what are 3 battle commands that you teach the rest of the group to warn them when you're going to do things, or to make room for things, or calls? What would be Damien's idea of an effective thing? Because you have the most time to think on what you want them to know and do and or yell. So what are the 3 kind of call-outs if we were creating the video game to let the team know something? Everybody make note of these, because these would be pretty drilled.
Yeah, I will have to note them as well. I like the first one that comes to mind is like get back, and that just being kind of like make room for the gout of flame that's about to come into the area. But get back is, I think, too generalized. I feel like I think we're looking more for like specific like key phrases.
Yeah,
right?
if there's something that like where if you yelled it across the room, everybody would know what to do.
Yeah.
Like the equivalent of like everybody down, they know to lay down on the floor. It's not oh, think about it, take a knee.
Yeah.
Or just the idea that, like, if you yell mine while pointing at an enemy,
I
like,
like-
do not get in a fucking line between you and that person.
I like mine, as in I am going to perform some of my most powerful but also like explosive psyker.
Yeah, your magics.
Magic, yeah. Mine I like as basically that.
You may want to command something along the lines of, I don't know if it would be witch or kill it or something like that, where if you identify an enemy and you're like, that's the powerful psyker, like they're the cannon that's got to go because you have the ability to spot things the rest of the team doesn't. Would there be something to like label somebody a high priority target?
I think I like witch for that.
Great.
And there is one where I have again I like Damien is very much a like blasting type of psyker, or he is like very wrathful, he's angry. A lot of his psyker magic manifests in fire or destruction, but he does have some more finesse or control to turn the tide of a fight in our favor. That doesn't necessarily involve burning someone down. If it needs to be restraining someone or creating an opportunity for an ally to do something, I want to think of a way to basically be like, I'm holding this person, or I'm slowing these people down. This group is vulnerable because I've exerted the warp upon them. Some kind of phrase for like this person is weakened.
If you're not sure the phrase off the top of your head, we're also able to open this up to the group as part of
That would be
training if
great.
there's something.
Yeah.
So if Damien has targeted, and this is an interesting, do you know what? I'd love to hear this conversation in character. I'm going
Sure.
to step back. Damien, if you want to explain to the group
Yeah.
what you need, I'd love to hear this group come up with this third one.
Yeah, and I think it'll all be kind of like in one day, the preliminary kind of thing of like, and so it'll just be after like a massive like warp fireball dissipates, and Damien and sort of like, and so that's what you can look for if you hear me say mine. Mine means get out of the way, hit the deck, whatever it takes. I'm gonna blow someone up. So we've got mine, we've got witch. You know that means to. I'm calling out a powerful psyker, a bomb, a walking heretical blight that needs to be dealt with immediately. Now, I haven't thought about what to call this one, but for when I'm able to provide assistance to you in a fight where I'm.
Well guys, I'm almost home, so I'm gonna stop the stream soon. Thank you for watching, and I will be online a little later from my PC, so I can play some games. I'm not sure, I think I'm gonna play some World of Warcraft Classic, or a little War Thunder, I'm not sure yet.